to my attic to get my robe and chair, I wouldn't be needing them anymore. You see, I am now a happy child of a king. Since the address of your church was on the back of this gospel tract, I have come here to personally say thank you. And this, when the father heard the pastor, he began to sob. He began to cry. And he grabbed his little boy. And he was convicted. Because he was the one who doesn't want to get wet. He was the one who don't want to go for a mile. But he did not know that there was a purpose. That somebody will about to end her life. And so we don't know what the real purpose that God had intended for us. This is the reason why we have to ask the Lord, open our eyes, Lord. Open our heart. Open our awareness of what's happening, because we really need the Spirit of God. God knows what is in this community. God knows what's happening all over the world. God knows what needs to be prayed for. If we are not aware of this, then we are like blinded person who don't have the use that God can use us as an instrument. And how about what's happening now in America? We know that America is now in great trouble. If we are not going to be aware, because America, its attitude is friendship with the world. Its attitude is worshiping itself. Its attitude is wanting to be more advanced than any country. Because they think that they are the leaders of the whole world. But the problem is, it is now destroying America and its freedom. If America will not be aware of what's happening, that the factor that tries to destroy America is the element that comes in to its country. Not the communists, but the Muslims. We might awake one day to hear the Muslim muezzin call to prayer from the neighborhood mosque, as millions of Europeans already do. Liberal spouse, diversity is our strength, as Islamic enforcers cruise the cities in their quest to shatter or harass any establishment that is contrary to Islamic Sharia law. But in Australia, they declared that Muslims cannot do things in Australia. That if they are not going to listen to what they need to follow the laws and the rules in Australia, then Australia said, you go out of the country with your Sharia. Because we have our own rules, we have our own law. And this helps them because they begin to stand firm in what they believe. The world and its attitude is like going to destroy our faith, especially those who really want to see the Lord. The world is God's enemy. In James chapter 4, verse 4, it says, adulterers and adulteresses, do you know that the friendship with the world is enmity with God? Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world makes himself an enmity with God. The Word of God wants us to be aware, wants us to know what is in this world. That deception leads us into a deeper mire of life, and it will lead us to hell. It will not help us to grow. It will not help us to be able to get closer our life to the Lord. This is the reason why we have to be aware of what's the world's attitude toward God. And its condition. Because the present evil age right now is in this world. It is the one that asserts that what they think is better for the whole world is better for everybody, which will destroy our faith. Yet because in John chapter 15, verse 18 to 19, remember, it says the world hates you, us, Christians. If the world hates us, Jesus said, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own, would cater its own people. Yet, because you are not of the world, we are not really built for the world to live here and stay here forever, but to be with the Lord. That is why he said, but I choose you out of the world. Therefore, the world will always hate you. This is a problem. That is why Christians are being singled out. Now, if we are not aware, if we are not always coming unto the Lord to ask Him, Lord, I'm blinded by what the world is offering. I cannot really understand what's happening right now, because everything what the world is trying to do is to deceive the whole world. So open our eyes, Lord. Help us, that we will be able to know through listening to your word. We will be able to know when we begin to open your words, we will be able to see what is behind that deception. We will become aware of what is moving into the things that are now being set up by our enemy. Remember, our enemy is not the people. Our enemy is the spirit of Antichrist. Our enemy is the devil. The devil is not showing himself fighting us. The devil is so smart that he will always use his influence, and he will always go to the weaknesses of the people. That he is going to impose and insist that what they think are right. This is the reason why he will always encourage those who are trying to destroy even the order of God, in order to remove everything here on earth, that there will be no more order. So what's the future of America if we are not going to be aware, if we are not going to ask the Lord to help us to be sensitive to what's happening? If we're